So, hello everybody. Today I'm talking with Anne Vainio from Finland, and Anne is we worked together like a couple of years ago, and I'm really happy to talk with Anne today because her journey has been really it's been amazing, like how you have changed everything in just a couple of years, and what really happened few years ago, and what has happened after that. And today we're going to talk about like how to dream big, and she loves to call that word, like how to dream big and how to make changes, and she is so inspiring. And we're going to talk a little bit about her new foundation that she started working like a few years ago, and inspiration and the concept that basically no one else has done that before, and it's going to be huge. And now it's like 20 people in the team and you're working together without having a formal startup or company or that kind of old-fashioned structures. And but first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself with your own words. What do you do, and who you are, and what tell me a little bit about yourself.
Right. That's a little bit broad, but yes. What shall I say? I love people. My passion is people. I love to inspire people. I want to inspire by leading by example. So what I do, I kind of have a nice balanced life with where I kind of do my own thing, do my building my own dream, as well as like working part time. And at the moment I live in Finland, so yes, I am Finnish. I think we're going to talk about this, but I took a jump about a couple of years ago, and yeah, it's lovely to see how much you can actually achieve when you truly know what you want in life.
Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit about that jump, the big leap that you took a couple of years ago, because it was not so simple, and it took quite a lot like effort and work that you did so bravely. So what really was like starting point? What happened, and what made you took that jump, and where you got the courage to start building something totally new and different?
Yeah, I think there was quite a few factors. Lots of different things happen at the same time, and let's just say I think I've kind of always, like many years, I've been searching for something that I didn't know what it was, and I always kind of asked when I achieved something in life. I asked whether this was it. Is this what should make me happy? And it wasn't whatever I was doing, and I was working in a corporate world, and I think I started to realize that my values didn't really match with the corporate world, and also lots of various things, like in my private life. I was in an unhappy relationship, and it kind of all came down to the losing things. And I think that's quite a sad thing that happens to many people that I've now listened to different stories, that you kind of have to lose something before you realize that you have to take action.
Yeah, that's very interesting, and we're going to talk about that later. Like, is it really necessary that you first have to lose something, or something you need these wake-up calls like before you change? But what was really like, what you were looking for? Did you know that you're looking for? You mentioned that it was not meaningful for you, the corporate world. But what was it in practice? Like, what didn't feel meaningful for you, and did you know what you're looking for?
No, that was the problem. I didn't know what I was looking for. I kind of tried different things, but I always felt like it wasn't there, whatever it was. But I didn't know what it should have been like what was happiness. I didn't know what was happiness in, how to find it. Of course, I had good times, and just kind of normal way, but I never truly felt complete or happy, or I don't know how
Yeah.
to describe it.
Even though you managed to create like a wonderful career and you were successful, and you know, how did you find that? You kind of was that your way that you were trying to find it? Was like a building more and more external things, and you know, how was it for you? What were the ways that you were trying to find that meaning and calling?
Yeah, exactly. That's how it was. It was like
Mm-hmm.
external things.
Yeah.
That's I thought that that was you know, things outside equals happiness, and it
Yeah.
didn't. Because I had a lot of things. I was, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I am really grateful that I got to experience all those things. Like I had a nice job, I had a nice things, I had a nice house, and I had, you know, nice holidays. But it's a kind of now when you look back, it's it was really nice things, but I don't have any connection to them or any kind of feeling that I feel like oh my God, you know, that was amazing feeling when I did that. I didn't have
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And what really happened in your life that you were just like, I can't keep going like this anymore?
Mm, mm.
What did you have to lose? You know, you mentioned that you need to lose something before you take the big
Yeah,
leap. What happened to you?
yeah,
How was it for you?
yeah. I think it's just kind of all came down to well, firstly losing my health, which was
Mm-hmm.
really scary.
Mm-hmm.
Then losing my dad. Well, yeah, kind of opening up to those real things in life that you can't kind of control anymore, because you know when you lose your health or you lose your somebody that you love, you know, that's outside your control zone kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
That was really scary, that I can't control life.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, it all came kind of crashing down.
Yeah. And then you decided to move back to Finland and start looking for yourself in a new way. And what was the first
Yeah.
steps that you took on that path? Like, what was the first kind of an aid for you that you were started looking for? Because you felt like you have kind of did you feel like you have lost kind of everything because you resigned from your job and you decided like I'm moving back to Finland after 15 years in UK and starting from scratch again, right?
Yeah, yes, starting
And
from
what,
scratch.
yeah, yeah. And what did you do on that phase? Like, how was it for you? How did you feel? What was the way out? Like, where was the light? Kind of where the light, or what was going on in you, and how were you feeling about it? You know, tell me a little bit about that process.
I think once I made a decision, I realized that what's important in life. I realized it's myself and it's my
Yeah.
family, and that's when I realized, okay, I have to take the jump. I want to. That was, I felt like it was kind of a relief, massive
Mm-hmm.
relief that I could take that kind of jump and come back to my family. And yeah, and that was the best thing ever, best thing ever,
Yeah.
like in my whole life. I I said to myself that I can take a year off, which was a massive thing, because I've always worked and been productive and efficient since I was a child, really,
Yeah.
and always working like since I was 15 years old. So it was like, because it was kind of a hard thing to let go of that life, that kind of
Mm-hmm.
life that I've been brought up, you know,
Yeah. And the
to do,
lifestyle.
and the lifestyle and everything.
Yeah.
But I felt like that was the only choice that felt right for me at that point,
Mm-hmm.
and it felt
Mm-hmm.
really good.
And what was the kind of you mentioned that family. Did you feel like you're safe when you are connected with your family, even though you were not that close for many, many years? You felt like when you're coming back to Finland to your family, you felt like it's safer for you, safe environment to
Yeah,
start creating something new and connecting with who you are. Because before we started recording this interview, you mentioned to me like the process for you has been like finding your true self, like connecting with your true self. and that's how you call the process, like what really happened, or what was kind of the outcome, like with the self work and everything that you started doing, like when you came back to Finland. So what was it like? Did you start doing like where kind of I remember that there were like something like you started using self-help, reading books, and kind of going to that path. And how did you find that? You know, were there something happening? Somebody's offering you a book or something? Like, what took you on that path of personal development and following kind of the answers from inside out, or finding the answers from inside out? So.
I think that's quite funny, because I was thinking about, you know, what actually what opened up my eyes in the first place. And there was a book that I can't remember how, I must have ordered it or something, and it just opened everything. And that was the book by Chris Carr.
Oh.
And yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I remember. Yeah.
Crazy Sexy Diet or something.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing to do with diet, a little bit, but all about like life. And I hadn't read a book like for years, and it just somehow like got to me, and that's when I already started making changes whilst I was still in England. And so the transition was easier, because I was kind of preparing myself 6 months before I came over here. But then it's just really opened up everything. Like I want to know more. Like I want to know more about how I can help myself. Like you said, this self-help.
Yeah.
Self-help. Yeah, but anyway, so I think then I realized that I do need to do the work myself. You know, nobody's going to just fix me just like that. You know, I need to try to find the answers, like what I want in life. And that's how I started, like going on to a couple of courses. I was lending books, borrowing books from the library, and all those things that kind of came to me once you open your eyes. It's funny, like as they say, you know, these articles and these books, they just come to you, and then you just have to read them, and it's magic.
Wow. Yeah.
Really good.
And I can't agree more. You know, once you open your eyes and start looking, that's what life is all about. If you have a really negative approach in your life, you see more and more negative stuff. But when you open up your eyes and, you know, take the intentional steps, for you, it's was more likely like following your intuition and following your calling, or actually longing, more likely. Yeah.
Longing, I think that's a good word, longing. I think it made me feel something that I'd never felt before when I was reading these books, and I could really relate to these things, because I've never discovered anything like that before. What I've learned many things in life, but nothing that deep kind of thing.
Yeah. So you started taking the path to you know, who you really are and what you want in life. And what happened then? You know, it's like most people are, you know, struggling with a lot of resistance in that phase, and they're just like there comes like a resistance, can be like, I can't do this. You believe there's a lot of fears, a lot of course, there were a lot of sadness, a lot of things that you needed to process, like because of your dad and everything. But how was it for you? Like, what really made you go forward and, you know, move forward and get this help? And what was for you? Did you feel like you can't get all the guidance from the self-help books and you need something more? Or how was it for you that you started looking for help from the other people?
I think I was quite alone with you know, trying to find the answers, like for 6 months. And I felt like I've done everything that I could for myself to help myself to go forward. And then I realized that, okay, you know, there's something missing. I felt like I needed some kind of support from outside, you know, to kind of have the same like-minded person who could guide me a little bit further, because I felt like somebody, I've been pushing myself. I've been like working with myself, and I've been doing all the things that I could think of that to get me further. And then, of course, my deadline was approaching, that I had a year off, and I was just already like, after a couple of weeks, I'm like, oh, I need to know like what I want to do in life.
Yeah.
Because it was like 6 months down the line, which was great, that I could, kind of have patience to go forward. But I felt like now I just don't know where to go and what to do. So I need somebody to help me.
And was it difficult for you to find help and find the right person? And how did that happen to you? Because many people are, I don't know who to contact, I don't know what to do, how do I know that this is the right person? How was it for you?
It was quite easy, in the sense that when I felt a bit stuck, and I felt that I need to do something else now, I read your text, like your blog, about what's happened in your life, what you're doing at the moment, and I could really relate to it, like even word by word, and I had that feeling like, okay, I think like what I've gone through, like where we're going. And I think it was so lovely that when I, after many years, I got in touch, and it was just so comforting to know that there is somebody out there that has gone through the same thing, and has had will be able to help me forward with my life. And that the key sentence that I love was that we're never alone, which is I think so important to know, because at that point I felt that I was quite alone, even if I had my family and everything, but with myself, I felt like I don't want to feel alone. And
Tell me a little bit about that lonely feeling, because I know many people feel that loneliness, and that's what I felt as well, like before I took the big leap. And I still remember that feeling, and it's kind of it's empty and it's bottomless. You know what I mean? It's like you can't really describe it, and it's like when you are not connected. So what was it like the outcome, like when we started working? Was it like, did you feel that loneliness, that lonely feeling is fading, like along the way, when you're getting more in touch with yourself and with your emotions, and being able to release and let go of those old beliefs and packages,
definitely.
Yeah.
I think that the worst feeling in the world is that when you're alone, it's horrible. And when you realize that you're never alone, and when you realize, when you know how to connect with yourself, and when you know who you are and where you want to go, and just kind of being able to know yourself, like from inside, not just the things that you have on outside, just inside. It's the calmness comes with it, which is amazing.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. Even though the challenges are not fully going away. So, how was the journey like when you started working with me, and in 6 months time, what was really, how would you describe the process, like what you had to go through? Because we, of course, like we did that everything for you and following your needs and desires. And what was the main thing for you that you were able to find during the 6 months, and how did that happen?
So many things, like amazing things. It was such an amazing journey, like all the way along, like every week I felt like I was just growing like so much and learning so much. And I think the main thing was what we discussed, like I think it must have been our first or a second session, was like what is it, like, what is life about? Like, what's the meaning of life? Like this kind of like basic question, like how you should live your life. And I was so totally lost. I didn't really know like what I'm supposed to do, like just like the big question. And yeah, and then opening up with the in different areas, like what is happiness and how do you achieve happiness, and giving that little nudge, like me saying something like, oh, I quite fancy doing this, and then you giving me a little nudge like, why not? And that kind of little encouragement that at that point I probably wouldn't have been able to find it in myself, but because you have that somebody there supporting you like 110%, everything that you kind of open up your mind and your soul to somebody, and they kind of see that maybe clearer at that stage than you do, and they encourage you a little bit further, like just to go for things. I think that was the main thing for me. And then once you do this like on a regular basis, it's amazing how it just gets stuck, and then you just keep on doing it, and you just go crazy with like with courage, and just
because you opened up your creativity. You started drawing and writing a lot, and doing meditation and like creating your own tools, because I help people to find their own individual tools. So it's not like I forcing you to do things, but helping you to find your own kind of a mindful living tools, like I call them. So you really like were so inspired about that, and it was like a stream coming out of you, because you were suddenly like creating so many ideas and so many different kind of things. But of course, like what really happened at the end of this 6 months process, because you were kind of panicking a little bit. I want to talk about that a little bit, because just, I need to find a job. I don't know what to do, and this is not the thing. And what did you decide to do? Because I think the solution was like a really valuable solution for many people, because you left a career and you kind of consciously decided that you're not going to go back to corporate world. And you just want to create something, your own thing, and find your own thing. Maybe it would be your own company or what was something. And we kind of spent quite a lot time to help you to really like to allow it come to you, because when you're really trying to find your inspiration and your calling that you were looking for, and then we're, of course, like these practical things, you need to create your income, you have to pay the bills. So you just like, you were panicking a little bit. So what happened in that point, and how did you find the solution for it? What was your solution?
Yeah, I think this is really, it's so important, like what you're saying, like so important that you still, you do what's comfortable for yourself, because everybody does it differently. And for me, what I found that is that I couldn't just jump into like just doing crazy things like all day long. I needed, of course, support myself. I needed to do, pay my bills and, have that kind of stability in my life, as well as then balance it with the amazing things that I want to do in life. So to find that balance, I think it's important you find a job that supports you building your dreams. And I think it's important you find a job which is fun. And everything that I do now, I think, because I have so much fun, like with doing what I love to do, I would not compromise and go to a job to do something that would not be fun, because we have so little hours like per day, and I think even let's say you have to have that balance with work and then your own project. You need to find something that is kind of lifts you up instead of like raising you, because you need to have that good energy for your things that you love in life. So that's what I found, and it's kind of just came to me when it was needed. I didn't stress about it. I did.
Kind of at least expected, because you found something from the street, basically like that's the sign.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what happened then? I really want to, because you're so full of inspiration and so much like you love change and you nowadays like flow in your life. But tell me like about your big dream. So now you get to talk a little bit like about your project, what that you're working on. And you mentioned to me like when we started, when you talked before this recording, you said like I'm always introducing myself as a crazy little thing with the big dream. So tell us about the big dream. Like, what are you working on? Because it's already like tangible. I wouldn't call it even a big dream because you just mentioned that there's going to be a foundation. You have 20 people working for it, and so please.
Yay! How long do you have?
So, what is the project that you're working on?
Yes, it's called My Metsä Helsinki, and it combines everything what I believe in. I believe in working together. I believe in the values such as compassion and inspiration, innovation, that kind of encouragement, bravery, sisu, like we say in Finland. Yes. So I think what I've realized is that if you do something truly from your heart, people get so inspired by it. So if you lead by example, you don't have to kind of tell people like get inspired or do something. Like it's just if you do what you love to do, they kind of get inspired by what you're doing. So this is like
it's energy that is spreading, and it's like vibrating from you and getting people involved and excited as well.
It's so what it is that when I took that time off, which is basically I needed to stop, reset and play, which is I love that you stop in your life, then you reset your mind and your life, and then you just go again. I just love that thing because I think that's everybody should stop in their lives and just say if they're happy what they're doing. And what I did, like we discussed, I moved back with my mom in Finland, in the countryside. I discovered the beauty of nature and the healing powers of nature and forest. And what I wanted to do is I found my well-being with being, of course, doing this work with myself and also finding the calmness and the peacefulness like in the nature. And I wanted to share that with everybody because everything like what you experience yourself, you kind of that's where it comes. You feel so good that you want to share it with people. So I wanted to create a place in an urban environment, like in a city, where you can stop, reset, and play. Which means bringing nature to the city in a new, innovative way. Respect nature whilst we're bringing it into a new environment. So there's.
So what does it mean in practice? Like, what does it mean bringing nature into the city? Like, what does it mean, urban forest, or what is it?
Yeah, so what it is that we are building a world's first rooftop forest in the heart of Helsinki. So because I'm so proud of people, nature, and looking at the team that I'm working with, we have an international team who see the beauty like in the nature and in the people. We want to celebrate it and proudly lift it up somewhere, high and reach into the skies, and where you can just get away from the busyness of the city and take a bit of time and find
connect. Connect. And when you can do that instead of having a rooftop bar, you're having a rooftop forest. So that's a beautiful thing. So is it like really like a real forest on the rooftop? So it's like there's everything.
Yeah.
Like can we get it in New York? When it's going to be in New York, I need it.
Soon. Wait for it. Yes, it's all planned that it's going to be, you know, we're going to take over
Yeah.
the world, and you
But
know,
you're building up in the first one, and when it's going to be ready in Helsinki.
2022.
Oh, wow.
That's the vision.
Wow. Wow. But you're working with the first one, and you have the team, and you've been working towards that so consistently for the last couple of years. And I think like it's like you've been so patient with the steps like you have been taking forward, and you know, it's like everything has happened. You have met all these people who's been helping you and willing to work with you, and got inspired about your idea of this concept. And it's pretty amazing how everything has been happened. But also I admire your really like consistency and going forward, and there's always this patience in you. Like when I talk with you about the project, and you're just like, no, we're going to do this, it's going to happen in 5 years or not. So that's huge. So what is your real vision with that project? How do you see, is it going to be all, you know, tell me about your big vision around My Metsä Helsinki.
Yeah, I think the big vision is that because this is something that nobody's done before. There hasn't been a project that has been with the ideology that I spoke about before. It's kind of I want to show how you truly work together, and that's the whole point of this project. Can we actually build something together with the community, with the businesses, with the city of Helsinki, with the government? Can we, which I think we can.
I think so too.
Can we show what it's all about when we have different skill sets, and we have different ideas, and we have different passions, and can we all put it all together and build something great, like for everybody? And I think not excluding anybody, or not restricting anybody to join in. I think it's been amazing, and this is how you truly see that when you're not alone, and you truly like have people around you who believe in themselves and believe in something bigger, you can achieve amazing things.
Wow, it's like it's again, I'm witnessing something that you share from your own experience and from your heart, and when you believe in yourself, anything can happen. And that was one of your themes, you know, you just like believe in yourself and making it happen. But of course, like you need to take the steps forward. But it's basically this idea is coming from the Finnish forests, and for us Finns, you know, forest, the silence, the quietness, the peacefulness, that's connection with us. Are you thinking the same way? Yeah,
exactly.
And what was it for you, like what was kind of the biggest realization for you, like what is the source of your happiness? How were you able to, because I remember like when we had our last session, you just like, I'm so happy, and like everything was pretty much like wide open what's going to happen in the future. You were living in total kind of uncertainty. Of course, like you got your job and you had started creating this idea and working on it, but you were just like now I'm ready to go. And what was the happiness for you? How did you find that inspiration and creativity, and basically the trust in yourself that you got this?
I think the only answer to that question is by hard work. You know, you have to keep it up. You have to, you know, it doesn't, you know, you can't just decide to be, you can decide to be happy every day, and it's great, you can be happy, but you have to make it happen. It's not like you just turn on a switch and, oh my God, like look at somebody and think, oh, they're happy all the time. It's not the case. You have to work for it, like every single day. Every single day you have to reinforce that, you know, believe, and reinforce those the trust in life, and you know, life will carry you, and you know, anything is possible, and I can do that. You know, you just have to you have to keep that in mind all the time. Not even
Yeah.
keep in mind, you have to like, I meditate and I have a routine and I have a feel good
Yeah.
day routine so that I know what makes me happy. And before
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what makes me happy, before
Yeah.
I started to know myself. And now
Yeah.
I know that, okay, if I do these things every day, I live, you know, happy life. But also,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that you just kind of, you just blissfully like enjoy the happiness. It doesn't work like
Yeah.
that.
It
You
doesn't
have
say,
to.
because it's like you can, yeah, I totally agree with
Mm,
that. And that means that you do these things every day, right? You
mm,
work on your
yeah.
happiness. It's not really work, but you
Yeah.
pay attention
Yes.
your happiness every
Yeah.
day consciously, and you do these practices. So what do you do? What are your happiness tools, exercises? What do you do? How do you maintain that?
For me, it's meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, and I can so see the effects if I don't do it, because I've been, and also you have to realize as well that there are periods in your life that, you know, you don't feel that happy, and you're struggling, and you know there's lots of things that
Mm-hmm.
coming your way that you really have to kind of get through them. And
Yeah.
then but then when you know the tools for how you get out of those, you know, struggles, it makes life so much easier. So yes, I
Mm-hmm.
meditate, I should exercise a little bit more. I will do. It's all about mind, body, and soul, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, exercise, and then I read a lot, which is I
Mm.
love that kind of space where your imagination takes over instead
Oh,
of like watching TV or something. I don't know, something else. It doesn't work, because when you reading something, whether
yeah.
it's fictional or like something else, it's just like you create your own world. And I love that kind of world where, you know, where you you create the picture, you know, instead of
Yeah,
somebody else
you
creating the picture.
visualize and use your
Yeah,
imagination, and
yeah,
that's the tool how you kind of create your intentions and what you want,
yeah,
and keep that connection up. So that's reading is beautiful. Yeah,
yeah,
beautiful
yeah,
practice.
yeah,
Enjoying, it's not even self-work. It's like enjoying yourself.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
Anything else you do? What do you do then when you see that, oh my God, I have kind of lost my happy tracks? I know it doesn't happen to you for a long time anymore, but how do you get back on that? Like when you see that's pure awareness, like when you see that that's been happened,
Mm,
and how
mm.
do you, instead of judging yourself and blaming yourself, what do you do instead?
I have to stop whatever I'm
Mhm.
doing.
Yeah.
Again, I have to learn to slow down.
Yeah.
Now I know myself so well that, for example, going into working life and just having a job as such,
Yeah.
I'm so passionate about people, and I'm passionate about making a change, whether it is the job or my passion or whatever it is.
Hmm.
And my drive is quite, would you say, fast, or however you would describe that. I go full on, whatever it is, it's
Yeah.
110%. So I have to learn to recognize that, and then take action when it's kind of been 150%
Mm.
or something. So I still do that, but now I recognize it before it's too late. So
Yeah.
I, think like, okay, I'm doing too much. This is it.
Yeah.
Now I have to take a break or
Yeah.
do something. Whether it's
Yeah.
just go for a walk or
Mm-hmm.
have a day off or something. Because when you're so passionate about something,
Mm-hmm.
you it's hard to slow yourself down, because you just want to do it like 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
Um.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. So you
Yeah.
have to know yourself and look after yourself, because otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
if I don't have the energy, if I feel that, I'm not looking after myself, I can't be there for others to inspire them. And like I said, it's all about leading by example, and
Yeah.
that's what I truly believe in. So
Oh
if
yeah.
I'm telling somebody to slow down, I can hear myself talking to myself.
I love that. Yeah, by the way. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know. And I really, absolutely, that's so correct. So right, like when you say like looking after yourself, because then you take responsibility of your own happiness, your well-being, everything. And even though we are really inspired about everything, and I know that when that flow comes, you just have to follow it, but you need to take, keep the attention and take care of yourself and exercise and eat well and do things, and so that you don't totally drain yourself. And this can be, what was like when you see yourself on your 20s, and what really happened that you kind of got on that track, that you started believing that money and success and beautiful, wow, lifestyle, bling blings, all that is making you happy. Have you been able to recognize that point, or what was the belief, where it came from, like when you started going to that direction? Or was it for you like everybody else were doing the thing and it was easier to just go with the flow and not be different? Or do you believe like it's part of it, because you mentioned that we have to kind of lose something until people realize like, oh my God, it's about me, it's about my life, and it's my responsibility how I create life and be happy. So I don't know, many questions in one question, but if you do you have that, what is your kind of a thinking around it?
I think I have thought about it, like where does it come from, and I would so wish that you wouldn't have to lose something before you actually realize what life is about, and that's kind of with my Metsä Helsinki and with the nature and everything. I want to help people to get there before they have to lose whatever it is, something valuable in life. I think what it is when you're younger, I think it's the environment where you're in. It's the people and your friends and the media and everything around you, because you trust more what other people are saying than actually listening to yourself. You don't have that kind of, I don't know, well, I didn't, I don't know if I didn't have that kind of confidence in myself. I didn't have the voice within me. I didn't know what that meant. Nobody ever told me that you can actually listen to yourself and do your own thing. I think I just went with the flow, went with everybody else, and it mattered more what everybody else thought of me than myself. And that was the most awful, the hardest thing in life, I think. Because you judge yourself, you rate yourself all the time, like by the opinions of others. Comparing, and you're just desperately looking for the acceptance from others instead of accepting yourself. So that's tough. That's really tough.
What is your medicine? If you would able to change that, what do you think like would be the solution for when we think about young people, teenagers, and even adults? Like what is your wisdom around it? Like what would you do? What do we need more?
I think this is what we need more, what I've seen as well, which is happening already, is real stories about people, like how you can truly be yourself. And you don't have to be anything else than yourself. That sounds so cliche, but
I know it sounds like a cliche, but that's so true.
It's true. And before you realize that life is really tough, I think it just takes up so much space in your mind when you're so occupied by others instead of having that confidence in yourself. And I think for youngsters, it's important that there are, people who share their stories, even if, let's say, if you're not that brave or courageous at some point, the people who have maybe a little bit more to show, what they are, and be an example, like with a big heart, how to lead your life. And guide others. I think it's all about helping others. So if don't ever leave anybody alone with when they maybe feel a little bit too vulnerable or something. But I think
go ahead.
I think this is the question that it's really that's what I would like to know, because I would like to help youngsters, because
Mm-hmm.
it's such a long way before it might be a long journey before they realize that, you know, that it's okay to do your own thing. So I would like to find the keywords
Mm-hmm.
or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
or things that would open up their mind like earlier on, that they would
Yeah.
be courageous enough to live their own lives.
Well, I think
What
you
would you
have
think?
I think you have the answer actually, like when you think about yourself, because it's like how you were able to connect with yourself is like feeling the feelings and kind of unraveling the barriers that you had built along the years and really
Yeah.
connecting. And when you allow yourself to feel like good feelings and negative feels and allow you remember like you had a fear of happiness, you know, like afraid to be happy, like what if I can get all these things that I want in my life, and feeling that you are worthy for that. So it's like when you are connected to yourself, you recognize your feelings and what's going on in your mind today in the here and now, of course. So
Yeah.
and then you don't start creating those blockages again.
Mm.
And that's about the self-work, right? And that's
Yeah.
what you do every day.
Mm. That's true. That is so
Yeah.
true. And earlier on, we start doing all these things, you
Oh
know.
yeah.
It's just, you know, life gets so much fun.
Yeah, I know. I love the stop, reset, and play. Oh my God, that's so good. So thank you so much, Anne. And one last question. So what is your guidance for people? Because there's many people out there who are kind of hesitating to go after their longing and calling and start doing the things, even though it will be a new hobby, or start doing the changes slowly but surely, making changes, you know. What is your guidance for these kind of people who are kind of letting their fears hold them back and feeling stuck? And
I think you what would I say? That you need to have only a tiny little bit courage to take
mm,
that first step. So which is not too scary. So just
mm-hmm.
that it's a big jump, you know, jumping countries, like moving to another country or something. Whatever. But it can be only a small change, and then realize that, you know, you're not alone in life. You know,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of courage to ask help. I think that's really
Mhm.
important, that you feel that, you know, it's okay to ask help, which is really,
Yeah,
that's
I know.
maybe
Yeah,
so
yeah,
hard.
yeah.
And then, you know, have somebody along the way. And I would like so heartfully like recommend to have a life coach, because I wouldn't be here without, you know, having this journey with you,
Oh.
because it's kind of like I said in the beginning, like 6 months we work together, and it's that kind of mentality where you then start encouraging yourself,
Mm.
because you've had somebody there, that little voice or big voice, or it's somebody there like telling you like, okay, you can do this, and then you
Mhm.
start having that yourself, and you're like, oh, I can do anything. And that's where
Mhm.
the mentality, I can do anything, comes from, because you
Yeah.
know that you are supported, maybe not you know, another person in your life, but yourself, because you found
Yes.
that inner voice that tells you
Yeah.
like, yeah, you can do that. So I think it's important to have somebody along the way, definitely.
Absolutely. That's what we're here for, you know, supporting each other and living together, because we're
Yeah.
never alone, right? Thank you
Exactly.
so much. Such a beautiful statement. I'm getting chills here. So thank you, Anna, for your time, and thank you for sharing, and good luck to my Metsä Helsinki project. I really want to see that happening all over the world. So all the best, and thank you. I'll talk to you
Thank
soon.
you so much. Talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.